to GT4 Academy Lab Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez, driver for iRacing, and today we are around Mugello for the week 9 of the Falcon Sports Car Series. I'm gonna use the AMG GT4, and as usual, first I'm gonna go with the odd lap, and then we're gonna go together about the details about the combo. So yep, let's get started. Alright guys, so here we go for the lap around Mugello. So first start finish line really long actually. Quite a big chance of getting an overtake at T1 with the big draft as well. But now we focus on T1 and basically looking at the 100-meter board on the left side. I will just basically put the car to the left and run the Italian curb flag on the left side. No need to run more than that. The thing is that it's a bit tricky, the curbs on this track, because now you have the 3D curbs around this track and Okayama, and now it feels a bit more complicated to drive around the curbs, especially on the brakes, for example, or if you run through the curbs from an edge to another. So yeah, I think the best way is to stay on the curb. I don't really know about the rules if you can really go over that curb, but yeah, for me the best way is, in my opinion, to stay just on the curb, stay with the left wheels on the curb. Then look at the 100-meter board, which is a bit easier to see when you are really entering into the corner, thanks to the white line alongside the 100 board. So then you can just move the vision on the curbing instead of looking to the left, which is not really natural when you are about to go into a right-hander. So basically, looking at the white line, as you can see, still on throttle and then going close to the line, going on the brakes. Quite a big braking zone. Just gonna try to carry as much speed as I can on the entry. As you can see, I'm entering a bit wide because I really want to have a good exit. So I basically almost gonna do a switchback. So having a wide entry, still carrying the speed, then getting into the corner. We'll just release the brakes, drop to second. And then as you can see, I'm really staying on the brakes, trying to really find the rotation. And then when I mid corner, just going aggressively on power to really find the rotation, trying to still keep a bit of a margin to avoid the wheel spin. But the idea is to really make sure I'm really having a tight exit, so then I can really put the power down as much as I can. As you can see, really getting close of the curbing and then getting a late apex. And then it's just about making sure that I can straighten the steering, so then I can really avoid any kind of of wheel spin or spin, and then really optimize the traction. And then as you can see, the fact that I went a bit tighter on the exit of T1 really helps me for the setup of turn 2, because I really need to going quickly to the right side to prepare turn 2. So as you can see, going into turn 2, then gonna aim for the curbing on the right hand side, and then as you can see, as soon as I'm getting on the curb, I'm going on the curb, just going on the brakes, trying to not brake too much, and that's what you are about to see on this track. Now when you brake on the curb, for example, if you go at Barcelona T1, you can brake on the curb and you will almost don't feel any difference, obviously, except if you maybe use like an up and wheeler. Obviously the car is a bit lower, so you may do some sort of skating on the curb. But for example, if you take a GT and a GT4, if you go at Barcelona and you use all of the curbing on the entry of T1, then it's okay. You won't feel any difference. Now around Mugello with the 3D curbs, it feels like if you brake too heavily, at least the car is moving much more. The rear is moving much more. You can really feel the curbs. So now it's really important to really be careful on the braking. So as you can see, then not putting that much braking inputs, first because I don't want to really upset the car on the brakes with the curbs, and also because at the same time I need to carry some speed through the corner, and also because I don't need to put much more braking, because I need to find the rotation. So if I'm putting more brakes, then I will just lose the rotation, and the idea there is to really make sure I can really make this corner without losing too much speed. So yeah, as you can see, maybe putting about 20% on the brakes. I think I'm dropping to second. I'm not sure. No, I'm staying with third actually through the S's. So yeah, through the big chicanes. I don't know how you're supposed to call this, but yeah, I will call this sort of chicanes. So as you can see, on the brakes. So then staying with third, still on the brakes. Then when I'm getting close of the sausage, going back on power, trying to make sure I'm not upsetting too much the car with by being like sort of on off on the input. So just trying to be smooth when I'm getting back on power, trying to making sure that I'm not going too heavily on the brake pedal. Otherwise, I will just get some sort of wheel spin. And as you will see, I got a tiny bit of wheel spin on the exit. So even when you're a bit smooth, even when you are trying to make it work cleanly, it's still a tiny bit tricky with the sausage. So yeah, just need to be careful with the sausage. So as you can see, then once again on the brakes, when I'm getting close of the sausage, taking half of them, then going back on power, trying to make sure I'm smooth on the exit. As you can see, a bit of counter steering, and then quickly need to move to the right, still staying with the throttle. No need the brakes into this one. Just trying to manage the throttle, then getting the sausage on the inside, and then when the car is settled and I'm okay for the exit to not go too wide, and again go fully on power. The idea there is to making sure you can keep the right wheels on this curbing, on the red, white, and green curbing. And then once we are done with this one, it's exactly the same approach. Putting the car to the right, looking at the 50-meter board, going on the brakes a tiny bit before you going past the 50 board, and then as you can see, kind on the brakes, not trying to brake too much. You brake a little bit more because obviously you had a bit more momentum before this corner compared to the one before, but then the approach is almost exactly the same. So on the brakes, braking a bit more, like 50%. Same for this one. We really need to be careful with the brakes because it's really easy to lose the rear and having the rear a bit sketchy. So, and also one thing about this one is that it's maybe a bit better to go slower into the first left, so then you can really have a good exit on the second right, because then if you are carrying too much speed into the first left, then you will just have to put more steering angle for the right one, and then you will just have to go back on power a bit later than what you could do if you are doing what I'm about to show you. So as you can see on the brakes, 50% more or less, then turning in, releasing the brakes to find the rotation, and then same as before, a bit of throttle just before the sausage. So as you can see, getting the sausage, steering to the right, keeping the throttle, no need to use the brake. Quite the same, still on the throttle, using the sausage on the inside, and then as you can see, just going flat out almost flat out on the exit. Still need to wait a little bit to make sure I'm not going too wide on the exit. And then same, getting the curbing on the exit, trying to keep a bit of a margin, so I will always make sure that I'm keeping my right wheels on the curbing. And then we will approach one of the really trickiest part of the track by far, because it's really difficult to make that work all the time. Really need to be smooth into those part of the track and really have to make sure that you're not too greedy as well. So the thing there is to look at the you have that exit road just right there. So I'm basically braking maybe 5-6 meters before that. So you can maybe almost match the place I'm braking with the marshals on the left side and all the stuff with them. So the truck, fire truck and stuff. Basically, you can use them as a reference. But yeah, I'm basically braking almost between the white line, which is on the extra curb, and the exit road. So when I'm in the middle of these two things, which almost match with the marshals on the left, maybe a tiny bit before the marshals, then I'm going on the brakes. The idea there is to make sure that you really stay on the curbing and you're not choosing any of the extra curb. Otherwise, you will just lose the car, because then, like I said before, if you go over the edge of this curbing, you will most likely lose the rear, because it's really difficult now with the at least now with the 3D curbs to really use them and use them as optimized as possible. So as you can see on the left, then crossing the first white line, and then when I'm in the middle of the white line in the exit road, going on the brakes, as you can see, not braking too much. I could brake more, but I don't want to brake more because then I will make the car lose. And yeah, this basically forced me to brake a little bit earlier, but it's a good thing, because actually then I can really make sure that I'm using all of the track on the inside, as you will be able to see. So as you can see, steering to the right, I think I'm using third once again. Yeah, using third. And then as you can see, when I'm getting into the corner, going back on power. So when I'm crossing the curb on the apex, then just on the entry, just going into the corner, sorry, just going on power. And then as you can see, I'm using a fair amount of track on the inside. I think you can use a bit more than that, but yeah, once again, tricky maybe with track limits, and also maybe it can be tricky as well with the curbs, and maybe with the edge of this extra curb, or the painted stuff. Then if you maybe put a wheel, like maybe 1 centimeter of the wheel on the grass, then you maybe have a chance to lose the car. So yeah, the idea there is to maybe keep a bit of a margin. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, as soon as you get it right on the exit of this one, then you are fine. So as you can see, into the corner then, and then you have to not go flat out on the exit, just keep a bit of a rest with the power, not really putting it flat out yet. Need to move to the right side. So as you can see, putting the steering to the left once again to make this left-hander. Not using the brake into this one, I believe, just a tiny bit, yeah, just a tiny bit on the entry, but I guess you can maybe use the brakes if you want to find a little bit more of rotation, but you have to really be careful on not putting too much brakes, because then if you do that, if you go on the brakes but you put too much, then you will lose the momentum. But yeah, maybe you can do two options, or you lift a bit more, like at this time right now, you can maybe just lift and then slow down the car that way. But at the same time, to me, it feels like you won't get really the rotation you are looking for example, with the brakes. So yeah, for me, just tapping a little bit the brakes, as you can see, then I get the extra rotation to make it. And then as you can see, getting a bit of curbing on the entry. Just make sure that you are really careful when you... I think I'm using the extra curb a little bit. No, I'm not. But if you do it, if you use the extra curb, you have to really be careful with the throttle, because it's really easy to have some snap of a steer. So just make sure that you are staying with the same amount of power. That's the main advice I could give you if you wanna use all of the track on the inside. But yeah, if you just stick with the curb, it's better in my opinion, because you really keep the car stable. Because then we know that with the tire model we have right now, if you get a bit of wheel spin, you have big chance to struggle after that, because then the tires will be sliding for maybe 1 or 2 corners, and you really don't want to have the car sliding for the next 2 corners, next 3 corners, because then it's gonna be a nightmare with the speed you have through those corners. So yeah, just make sure that if you use the very inside, you don't get any sort of wheel spin, and by doing that, you just need to make sure that you are really smooth, fast on the steering, and then also on the power. So then, as you can see on the apex, and then I'm just gonna go flat on power, just going for the right side for the curbing. As you can see, the idea there is to make sure I'm not putting too much steering angle when I'm getting on the curbing, because as you can see, I think I'm close off the edge. So if I had more steering angle, there was a chance to me for me to maybe lose the car. So when you're going on this curbing, just make sure that when you arrive on it, you are not having too much steering angle, otherwise you can make this tricky. So as you can see, steering is almost straight. Obviously it cannot be straight because you are completely on the exit of one corner, and then you have quickly to move to the left as well to prepare the double right. So yeah, as you can see, then just getting away from this curbing, then moving to the right, and then as soon as I'm gonna uh, go past this curbing on the left side, I will just basically release the throttle, go tiny bit on the brake sometimes, but not that much actually. I'm not even sure the way I braked made anything on the brakes, because as you can see, it's like it's not even going into it's not even appearing into the brake inputs, like just a tiny bit. Like I don't even know what this means. I guess it's the dead zone or something like that. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I'm guessing that if you it only appears in this part of the bar inputs. It's not even getting applied to the car. So I guess I'm not even braking. So for this one, you can almost consider that you just need to lift. So as you can see, when I'm getting past the curbing on the left, just lifting, just making sure that I'm not carrying too much speed. Otherwise, even if it's on camber, it can really, with the fact that the GT4 doesn't have that much downforce, it's really easy to overshoot the corner and then get massive understeer and basically miss the corner and lose all of the momentum. So as you can see, just lifting a little bit on the entry until I'm getting into the corner, then need to find the rotation. It goes on camber, so it's really it gives you a little help to find the rotation when you go on power. And as you can see, when I'm getting in the second part of the corner, then going flat out, then I will just go on the left side, just getting the curbing, just making sure that I'm not running too wide. And then as you can see, just a tiny bit before this curbing ends, I will just steer to the right, at the same time release the throttle, and then I will just aim for the apex. So this time you can lose all of the track on the inside. This one doesn't really impact the behavior of the car. It doesn't really make the car lose, so you can really use as much track as you can then on the inside. So as you can see, using almost everything I can, running through the rain cover as well. And then it's just about making sure that you are able to time the throttle on the exit. So then once you leave these, you can go flat on power, and you should be able, if you really manage to get the very inside of the corner when you leave the curbing and the extra curb, then go flat on power, and then you should not go too wide. Actually, it's perfect like that, not too close of the gravel, because actually sometimes it's really upsetting, like the way you can get enough track on this track, because sometimes you are not even running the gravel that you get the off track. So just make sure most of the time to keep a bit of a margin, maybe, I don't know, not too much, but maybe if you keep like 10 or 15 centimeters away from the gravel, then it's good enough. This time we have a good 20 or 30 meters or maybe even more from the gravel, so it's fine like that. But yeah, just make sure everywhere on the track to keep a bit of a margin from the gravel, otherwise it's really, yeah, it will be an annoying off track. So yeah, then we are done with the fast rides, and then we will approach I guess the second half of the track. And then I'm gonna brake just a tiny bit after going past this sort of exit road. And as you can see, then it feels like there is a sort of I don't know if you can see that actually. Maybe it's trickier on this lap guide compared to if you could see it on your own in a session. But there is a sort of of deep right there, and as you can see that the curb is going um, higher again after this deep. So yeah, I'm just braking into the deep basically. So as you can see, into the deep on the brakes, trying to not brake too much because I want to really optimize the rotation on the entry. So as you can see on the brakes, I think I'm staying with third. I must stay with, yeah, I'm staying with third for this one. So as you can see on the brakes, trying to bring the car to the apex, trying to do almost the same as what we saw at the beginning in the first half with the two sort of chicanes. So basically getting the sausage, getting almost the same amount of as the two other times. So as you can see, then on the brakes, then a tiny bit before. So actually it's the same as the what I did before. Going on the throttle just before the sausage. So as you can see, on throttle, getting the sausage, and then same, just trying to be patient on the exit of the first right, so then I can really optimize the exit of the left one. So as you can see, staying a bit to the right side and then putting the car into the corner, not using the brake for this left one. It's not necessary, just about making sure that you can have the right momentum with the throttle, but no need to put any brakes, otherwise you will just kill the momentum. So as you can see, steering to the left, just lifting a little bit before getting into the corner. Then as you can see, into the corner, going back on power, then using the sausage, trying to avoid the second one. I think I'm getting a little bit of the second one, but it doesn't really impact the car, so it's fine like that. But yeah, I'm almost, yeah, I think I avoid the sausage actually. So yeah, for me, better to avoid the second one, because then the second one I think upsets too much the car. This one feels quite okay, but most of the time when you get the second one, for example, is the same for the first chicane, sort of chicane. It's, for me it feels like the second one upsets the car more than the second one upsets the car more than the first one. So, and it's the same for the exit of the first chicane. If you use the first one is okay, but then the second one feels a bit more difficult for the car. So yeah, in my opinion, get the first one, but just make sure that you can avoid the second one, because then it will not feel that great in my opinion. And then when you basically go past the second one, you can just go on power flat. Then just make sure that you are not going too wide. So just keep the left wheels on the curbing. And then I need to quickly move to the right, to the left, sorry. And then looking at the 50 baud on the left side, gonna do a big braking for this one. So as you can see, putting the car down on the inside. So as you can see, getting past the 50, lifting on the brakes, trying to keep the car as straight as possible. So as you can see, I'm really minimizing the steering angle. That's why I brought the car a bit earlier into the corner, because then if I wanted like um if I was going for a wide line, then I would have needed more steering angle, and then it would have been tricky with the steering, because I think the car would have been too loose. So the thing there for me was to bring the car to the inside, have the steering as straight as possible, keeping the same amount of brakes. Then as you can see, releasing a bit the brake, trying to bring the car a tiny bit wider, so then I could just close the racing line, do a sort of switchback, and then I could really optimize the exit. So as you can see, still on the brakes, and then once I'm in the middle of the corner, just going back on power. I dropped to second for this one. You cannot really see it, but I dropped like for a few moments on second, but then I'm quickly going back to third to really optimize the exit. So as you can see, just trying to manage the throttle, and then as soon as I'm really getting close of the exit, and I'm really into I'm making my second apex, just going fully back on power. And then as you can see, I'm really trying to open the steering. You have quite a wide track on the exit, so it really helps you actually to really open the steering, really avoid any kind of sideways moment. And as you can see, I'm still have quite a bit of a margin, so yeah, it's quite comfortable on the exit of this one to really open the steering early, and then you have a wide track on the exit. Then no need to really move quickly to the left. You can stay in the first half of the track, as you can see. So then the thing there is to not be too greedy. I think if you just keep like one side of the wheels on the curb, it's quite okay. So as you can see, then nothing particular to do on this one, just ride the curbing. So as you can see, it was, I think, quite more curbs than I expected. I thought I was a bit more on the edge, but yeah, it's better to do it like that than getting a wide of track. So yeah, just make sure that you are just keeping the left wheels and the right wheels on the curbing, and then we will approach the last corner of the track. So putting the car to the right side, just looking at the 50-meter board, and I'm just going to brake. When you can see, like, there is, once again, there is a sort of deep, just like maybe 2 or 3 meters before the 50. So I'm gonna brake just into the deep. As you can see, pretty much the same approach as the one before, trying to make sure that I really minimize on the entry the steering angle. Otherwise, it can make the car a bit loose. So that's what I'm trying to avoid, mostly by getting a bit early into the corner, because then it helps me to actually have the steering straight. So as you can see, start gear into the corner, just trying to keep the steering as straight as possible, then going wider, so releasing the brakes, going wider to find the rotation, then dropping briefly for like maybe half a second or something, to second. So as you can see, dropping a little bit to second, and then just before I'm going back on power, I will go back on the third. You cannot really see it with the steering wheel and the ends of the driver, but yeah, just going back to third. The idea there is to make sure that you are not going too wide right there, because then you will just basically go lighter on power, and then you will lose a lot of momentum, because then, like I said at the very beginning, you have that very long straight, which is really important to have a good run too. And then, yeah, the thing there is to keep a margin, because then you can really be more comfortable on power, really open the steering on the exit, and then it really helps you to have a good run for the straight. So as you can see, then on power, trying to making sure that I'm really avoiding any kind of wheel spin, and then I can get very early on power. So doing it once again on the brakes, then when I'm in the middle of the corner, dropping to second, then going back on power, short shifting to third, and then just trying to manage the exit, just trying to not go too wide to first avoid the off track, and at the same time making sure that I'm not putting too much steering angle. And then it's just a run to the start finish line around the Mugello track. Alright guys, well done for today. I hope you learned a bit from this lap guide. That was the week 9 of the Falcon Sports Car Series with the AMG GT4 around the Mugello. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Coach Dev Academy channel, and join the Discord server if you have any questions about the work we are making. And I see you next week for the week 10. Bye bye.